What is up, YouTube? PPS here. We're coming back to you live again for another round of free plays here. I'm a little rattled. I just went through a 6-minute video and we had to restart because our dog just decided to pop in on the screen, start eating stuff he wasn't supposed to. He just went to the bathroom, so he's all hyped up. But I got to get this out. I want to get this out before noon every single day, just so you guys have all of my stuff. So if you do have a lunch break at work or anything like that, you can make sure that you get plays in during that time. Get to listen to this quick 10-minute spiel about my two favorite plays tonight. You guys know who's coming today. You already know. We got two of our three docket tomorrow. We have our other one. So you know who's coming, and you know who I'm going to. I really liked those guys. Got to recap yesterday. Chattanooga, 26 first half points, 30% from the field against one of the worst defenses in college basketball. Really an eye-opening game for me. Chattanooga would be a team I thought I would maybe back in March at possibly getting a big upset. But after watching that offensive performance, I mean, they're going to have a very, very specific matchup to win, especially like that's one of the worst defenses in college basketball, guys. Like, I can't stress that enough. And they scored 26 points on them in the first half. It's just was not their day, I guess. But man, it was just a disappointing game after the first half. Obviously, pretty much knew that one was done. Scored about 40 something in the second half, so we were close there. But yep, we're coming in ready to roll today. Obviously, when you get wagons on the docket, it makes things a little bit easier. Since I know these teams pretty well. First one we're going to start out with is the over in the Weber State Eastern Washington game. All right, guys, 158-point total. We're going back to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington has had a brutal 4-game stretch on the road in a row, 4 losses. Covered 2 of them, though. I was on their couple of their covers. That was nice. Couple team total hits in there as well. But we're going to see an absolutely unbelievable pace in this one. I think we've cashed on this game prior because their first game ended at 174, 90-84. Weber State shot very well from the field like expected. Eastern Washington played as good as we expected them to. But yeah, it really comes down to neither one of these defenses can compete at this level with the offenses here. 10 for 27 from deep from Eastern Washington, which is their season average, even a little bit lower. They shoot 38% from 3. Weber State ranks 19th worst in the country at defending the 3 ball. And that's why Eastern Washington had so much success. If they shoot a little better than their season average, they might even have won game 1. I was on Eastern Washington, I believe, plus 11 at Weber State. That was a nice cash. I know we cashed on the over on the show here as well. Weber State ranks 108 in adjusted offense and 206 adjusted defense. Eastern Washington 166 in adjusted offense, 243 in adjusted defense. And like I said, we have plenty of shot makers on this Eastern Washington team. 3 dudes over 40% from the field. Both teams 75% plus from the line. Weber State had 26 made free throws in the first matchup, which you see is very good. Weber's top 30 in total field goal percentage at 47.5% from the field. 6-2 to the over in the last 8 Weber State games. 6-3 to the over in the last 9 Eastern Washington games. We saw 174 points in the first one. We also saw this game play to a mid-70s possession. So obviously sitting at a nice spot for the over. Good shooters, great offense being run in this game. I really don't see a way that this game stays under. Eastern Washington should be hyped after coming home after a 4-game losing streak, getting the number 1 team in their conference coming to their place. We saw, like I said, 29 foul shots for Weber State. 26 of those went in. Obviously, that really helped the over. 16 steals in game 1, obviously leading into some transition buckets. And I just really don't like either one of these defenses. With this pace, it's very, very hard to keep up playing effective defense the whole game. We only saw 9 free throws for Eastern Washington as well, which is well below their season average. And yeah, only 37% from three. That's under their season average at 10 for 27. So we could quite possibly see 43-point shots from Eastern Washington here. And I'll take my bet on these guys rolling and shooting much better than they have from the outside here. I think that there's a lot of different ways to take this game. 158 is where I'm going to go. I think that Eastern Washington at +4 holds some value. Even one or +150 is not a bad spot either. So that's going to be my spot today on the over there. I'll probably have like 3 other plays in this game, to be completely honest. But yeah, I'm going to be ready to roll here. I'm just reading some of my VIP chat stuff. They're messaging in which ones I'm playing today. So obviously you guys are going to see it here as well. VMI team total over 75.5. We're playing a Mercer side here. I don't know if you guys remember, if you've been watching the show for a few months now, you know my VMI money line against Mercer was my only loss for like 13, or I think my first main. Mercer was the only one I lost on. I took the VMI money line -120. That was at Mercer. That was also the game that went 97-91, something like that. And I'm fading Mercer when they're coming into VMI here. The last 3 away games for Mercer, they lost 77 to Chattanooga, who just got, like, couldn't do anything. 75 to Samford, who's nowhere close to VMI's level here. 72 to Eastern Tennessee State, too, which they're not anywhere close to VMI's level on offense. Mercer ranks 263 in defensive in defending the three-point line. Obviously, VMI is a top 20 three-point shooting team, even after 2 shit games. They're still ranking 19th in the country in three-point percentage. Obviously, shoot 78% from the line. First game was 97-91. Stevens was 65% from the field, 34 points. And that was the game that Johnson dude from Mercer went 8 for 8 from deep. That's not happening again. VMI's shooting wasn't even that good. Kerfman shot 1 for 9 from the field. 1 for 9 from the field. And they still scored 91. They're only like 4 percentage points under what their actual field goal percentage is normally. So that is huge. This, like, the 91 points was not an anomaly. It was a team that shoots that well and is that active on offense. Mercer will not do that again. They will not have a guy shoot 8 for 8 from deep and score 97 points. I do not see that happening. Obviously, Huff wasn't in the starting lineup before yet. He only played like 20 minutes, had only 7 points in that first matchup. And they scored 91 points with Kerfman, their second leading scorer, 1 for 7 and only getting 6 points in that game. That shows how good and how deep this team is, how well they do shooting from the field, how effective their offense is in pretty much any single game in this Southern Conference. Game point into high 60s in possession, so nothing too crazy. And like I said, only about 4.5 to 5% different from normal shooting range is where VMI was in that game. So easily could see that type of game again. Obviously, they don't really have anybody to match up with Stevens, or else you wouldn't have just dropped a 34 piece on them. Stevens also shot 6 for 7 from 3 in that game. So they just don't have anybody who can match up with the size and physicality of Stevens down low and go outside. Huff is back. I mean, we've seen this team score this much on Chattanooga, who's a great defensive team. And now you're going to give me this absolutely trash defensive Mercer. I mean, this team still, like, if you look at their last 6, 90 against the Citadel, 99 against Samford, 74 against Chattanooga. I mean, obviously Furman was the buzzsaw. Then now they're falling apart a little bit. 83 against Eastern Tennessee, 76 against a good Greensboro defense. And they scored 76 against Western Carolina. Obviously, that didn't hit the team total, but they shot awful in that game. So they've hit this in a lot, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of their last 8. And they've had terrible shooting performances in there, and they still get there. So really like VMI tonight against Mercer. I think that this team total is like 2 points too low. And I think they take care of business tonight at home. Mercer does struggle heavily on the road. So rolling with VMI team total over 75.5 for 2 units. Rolling with my other wagon, number 2, Eastern Washington over 158 for 2 units. Rolling out quite a bit here. Obviously, we're going to try to improve on this 166 and 118 on a little bit of a skid, but it's time to come back. And I feel great going back to my 2 teams that I love. to back here in Eastern Washington and VMI. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this 10-minute video, a little spiel I had. Again, if you can please drop a like, I would appreciate it. And we're going to keep on keeping on over here on the channel. We'll have Pass the Prop tomorrow with probably a little bit more NBA and a little bit of our NFL props. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow live for Pass the Prop, and I'll have another one of these videos out tomorrow. So thank you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.